But one of the things they said, I remember, was they said, you're going to do presbytery. And I remember thinking, yeah, right. You know, I'm going to prophesy over someone I've never seen and tell this person what God is saying to that person and call out gifts and callings in that person. And about 2 years after that, these men who were there that time invited me to go with them to be mentored. And so we went, and they said, now, no pressure, don't worry about it. You just relax and just press into the Lord, and if the Lord gives you something, just let us know. And so this couple walked up, they knelt down, and I just saw immediately, I just knew he's got the gift of leadership and she's got the gift of teaching. And I just knew it. I mean, I just knew it, just like that. And so I said to the older prophet that had taken me with him, you know, I said, hey, I've got a word. He said, it's not your turn yet. I said, yeah, but I have a word. He said, it's not your turn. And so they got up, but they prophesied leadership and teaching. And so I thought, well, praise the Lord. At least I'm hearing the Lord, you know. So the next couple walked up, and I thought, these are servants in the house of the Lord. Where we get the word servant is diakonia, which is a deacon, where we get that word. So a deacon and a deaconess. There's a male and a female. And so I just thought, this is a deacon and a deaconess. You look up the word deacon in the dictionary, their pictures are going to be there. You know, I just knew. And so I said to this guy, hey, I've got a word. He said, it's not your turn yet. And then they prophesied about deacons and serving and all. And of course, that's what they did. The first couple, he was in leadership, she was in teaching. And, you know, it was just right on. It was just God confirming to them what he had called them to do. So then this young lady walked up in her 20s. And I sat there and I looked at her and I was just blank. I mean, completely blank. I had nothing. And this guy said to me, it's your turn. And I said, I don't have anything. And he said, well, you better pray because you're going to prophesy over this young lady. And so, you know, I'm just praying, God, 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 you know, and then the Lord said something to me. I thought, you know, you have to go by faith. But it was so specific that I thought, Lord, I'm either right or I'm wrong. You know, I mean, this is like very specific. And I was just scared, you know. And so he said, go on, go on. I said, no, I just don't feel good this time, you know. And so they prophesied over her, but they didn't say what I had. And then they prayed over her, and then she got up and she started to walk back to her seat. And I just had to say it. So I just grabbed the microphone and I said, you do too have a good testimony. Just like that. And she stopped and turned around and I said, you have a good testimony. You don't think you have a good testimony because you never drank and you never did drugs, but you do have a good testimony and God's called you to be a missionary. Just like that. And the whole church stood up and applauded. And the pastor and his wife went over and started hugging her, and they were crying, and she was crying, and everybody was crying, and it was just, you know. So one of the associate pastors came over to me and said, she's the pastor's daughter. And tomorrow, she leaves to go to language school to be a missionary. But last weekend, she stood in front of the whole church as we prayed over her and said, I'm asking God to confirm something to me. If I'm really supposed to be a missionary, I'm asking him to confirm it at the presbytery. She said, because I don't feel like I have a good testimony because I've never drank and I've never done drugs.